And now, breaking news. One world consciousness, hate no more, bigotry no more. One world consciousness.
Positive Spin. Presenting positive
news,
innovative, and solution-oriented news from around the world.
Supply of these basic items:
shelter,
food, education,
cash assistance.
On today's program, we'll witness the vitally important work of the UN High Commissioner for Refugees.
We recommended specific training.
And we'll see how students in the Model UN program are designing programs to address the plight of the world's refugees.
The option to take.
Then we visit a young migrant woman from Nepal who created a successful business through the Future We Create program.
Asian Americans have been the victims of verbal and physical harassment during the
Following that, we'll feature a promotional video asking people to stand up against Asian hate crimes.
Families have been shot.
With China's financial support, the Ghanaian government produced a renewable energy
Then we'll
plan.
profile an environmental activist from Ghana and recipient of the 2020 Goldman Environmental Prize.
Now, she is helping poor communities in industry.
And we'll learn how the tropical glaciers of the Andes Mountains are disappearing at an alarming rate. Finally, we'll experience the music video by prominent San Francisco singer and songwriter Linda Imperial. In June, the world gives focus to the plight of the world's 68 million refugees and internally displaced people with the UN's World Refugee Day. The leading organization aiding and protecting refugees across the globe is the UN High Commissioner for Refugees. Let's learn more about this vitally important organization.
I really appreciate my job.
I started with UNHCR in 2008.
When I first arrived, I really noticed how we made a difference in the lives of people.
I know that sounds cheesy, but really the reason why I started working here was I felt I wanted to do something about it.
From 2008 to now, I can see the results actually with the people.
An emergency like this, a natural disaster like this, requires every possible hand.
Et la population humanitaire s'est déjà mobilisée pour mettre à disposition des cliniques.
We are making sure that all the children get their vaccines.
Estamos haciendo todo lo posible para asistir a todas estas familias.
On a le devoir de protéger.
It's about making a difference.
To provide security, to provide peace.
To protect women, protect children.
We have to prioritize and make difficult decisions.
Emergency life-saving procedures.
Supply of these basic items:
shelter,
food, education,
cash assistance.
To maintain their dignity.
It gives this urging feeling to be a part of a huge humanitarian response. You see, I cannot stop war, but I can help other people who were affected by it.
Hundreds of thousands of students worldwide take place in the Model UN program each year, where they learn about the UN and how the World Organization operates. To address the urgent needs of the world's refugees, Model UN students are creating innovative programs to take on this worldwide problem.
In the future, more people will be displaced by climate change. If there is a climate catastrophe or if people are at risk of losing their homes due to events like floods, droughts, or the rise of sea level, they should be able to find a safe place. The idea our group came up with is that states should establish criteria for emergency residency permits in the form of humanitarian visas for people fleeing the effect of climate change. This way, people living in high-risk areas can relocate swiftly and timely in the face of environmental emergencies.
My team and I came up with several recommendations to help ensure the economic inclusion of refugees. Having an international database of job opportunities for refugees would allow employers worldwide to scout refugees to find jobs that are well suited to their skills. Refugees can really boost the economy of the country.
Nuestra idea era incitar a los gobiernos a cambiar sus sistemas de educación. Instamos a los gobiernos a reformar sus sistemas educativos e implementar temas educativos relacionados con los refugiados, sus derechos, su situación, su importancia social y económica, etc., para educar y concientizar a las futuras generaciones del mundo.
As part of our solutions, we recommended specific training for teachers on the integration and education of refugee children. We also recommend giving refugee students the option to take up extracurricular activities like sports, dance, or anything like that, which does have a very positive impact on the students' mental health, and also creating workshops to counter social isolation and enhance refugee children's well-being.
It's really important that the youth have a big role in trying to tackle these issues. We actually hold the ability to try and change so many written aspects of society.
We have the moral obligations to help them out.
During this pandemic and during these times of hardship, it's our responsibility
to know that our words, our efforts actually can reach policymakers and can really have an impact on these lives. It's just a powerful thing to know.
When a young woman from Nepal was sent abroad to work in Lebanon, she had no friends and only minor skills. Then, by participating in the Future We Want program of UN Women and the International Organization for Migrants, she learned to be a tailor and ultimately opened up a very successful business.
विदेश नजाने भन्दा नि आमाले चाहिँ पठाइदिनु भयो जानुपर्छ धेरै कमाउनु पर्छ भनेर चाहिँ पठाउनु भयो अनि साथीहरुसँग गयो साथीहरुसँगै नागरिकता बनायो सँगै पासपोर्ट बनायो अनि पछि जाने बेलामा एक्लै पर्यो म विदेश गएर चाहिँ घरको काममा भनेर पठाउनु घरको काममै परेको थियो अनि म त कति गएर बस्ने अब केही आउँदैन काम गर्ने साथीहरु चाहिँ कोही पनि थिएन म एक्लै त्यसरी 4.5 वर्ष कटायो 4 वर्षको स्यालेरी मैले पुरा पठाइदिए आउँदाखेरि चाहिँ 10 रुपैयाँ पैसा माग्दैन आमाले छैन भन्नुभयो कुन मेन्ने मान्छेहरुले नराम्रो गर्न थाले के छोरीको जात हुर्केर बस्यो यस्तो त्यस्तो भनेर भन्न थाल्यो अनि थाहा पाउने हो यो नि विदेश गएर आऊ भन्छ तर गएर के गर्ने मेरो गएको र नगएको एउटै छ भएन यतिकै बस्नु भन्दा एउटा केही गरेर बस्ने भनेर अनि म सिलाइबाट चाहिँ म गर्ने छु भनेर चाहिँ मैले भनेको थिएँ हजुरहरुलाई म तालिममा भर्ना भए है सुरु दिनमा म गए अब सबैजना पढेको छ है अनि म चाहिँ पहिल्यै डर लाग्थ्यो के लेख्न नि नआउने जति दिन गयो उति दिन मनमा आँटा आउने के नआएको र आउने भयो अनि त्यसबाटै सुरु गरेर यहाँसम्म आए ठ्याक्क 1 वर्ष भयो पसल राखेर 4-5 समय हुन्छ आफूले सिलाइबाटै गरेको कहिले चाहिँ त 100-200 भने नि हुन्छ अलिअलि आफूलाई मन लागेको ठाउँमा खर्च गर्न अब बच्चाले अब भोग लाग्यो भन्ने बित्तिकै आफ्नोबाट गोजीबाट झिकेर दिन केही बाध्यदै जान परेछ भने सकेसम्म राम्रो आफूले बुझेर अब पढिसकेको छ हैन आफूलाई पढेर सबै कुरा भोगिसकेको छ सकेसम्म राम्रोसँग बुझेर यो तालिमबाट चाहिँ धेरै कुराहरू थाहा पाएँ विदेश जाँदा यसरी जाने यसरी नजाने सबै प्रमाण आफ्नो साथमा राखेर जाने त्यो बारेमा चाहिँ थाहा भएको मलाई यही ठिकै लाग्थ्यो सानैदेखि पाखा भएर होला है मैले यो पसल हिजो अस्ति भनौँ अस्ति दर्ता गरेर यो मेरो छोरीको नाममा दर्ता गरेछ यसमै थप्दै जाने यसमै बढ्दै जाने सकेसम्म
To address the alarming rise of hate crimes against Asian Americans, members of the entertainment industry's SAG-AFTRA unions have joined together to create a compelling anti-hate video presentation.
We're living at a time when humanity matters most. Even though we're physically apart, we must all come together as one.
Yes, we're worried about our health, our loved ones, job prospects, our nation.
It's a scary time, but we can't let fear turn into hate.
Far too many people are using this crisis as an excuse to forget reason and embrace racism.
Asian Americans have been the victims of verbal and physical harassment during the COVID-19 pandemic.
Law enforcement has recorded a surge in hate crimes aimed at our community.
Families have been shunned, businesses vandalized.
People attacked on public transportation and children bullied and called hurtful names.
Can you imagine what it's like to face this kind of behavior at a time like this?
That's what many of us across America are dealing with during this crisis.
And the number of incidents, they will rise, I'm afraid so.
We must all stop the stigma. We must all stop the xenophobia. We must all stop the hate.
This crisis has revealed some of our strengths.
Communities virtually coming together to raise money, feed people, lift spirits up.
So let's make sure ending this behavior becomes one of our strengths. Stand up against racism when we see it.
Support local Asian American business owners. Take care of your neighbors. We will get through this with empathy, care, and love of our fellow man, woman, and child.
As members of SAG-AFTRA and as Americans, we know our strength is in our diversity.
We are always
stronger together.
Shabashe Ezekiel, an environmental activist from Ghana, led a campaign of youth activists to stop the building of a coal-powered plant in his country. The campaign produced a groundswell of support, resulting in the government shutting down the proposed power plant and embracing renewable energy sources for the country's power.
In the West African nation of Ghana, no one is immune from the power outages that regularly plunge whole communities into the dark. Exacerbated by the effects of climate change and drought, the government was desperate for a solution.
There was more demand than supply, and government needed power urgently to meet the demand, so they thought that going coal was one good option.
The Ghanaian government proposed to build the country's first coal-fired power plant, financed with a $1.5 billion loan from the China African Development Fund. The facility would be built on the coastal fishing community of Abono and would contaminate local water, endanger public health, and pollute the air.
The Ghana government had assented to the Paris Climate Agreement, which is aiming to cut down on global emissions. So that was, for me, a major contradiction.
Jabese Ezekiel, a youth organizer and leader of 350G Rock, or Ghana, reducing our carbon, wasted no time. With his team of young activists, he quickly launched a grassroots campaign to counter the government's message that coal energy could be clean.
As youth, we were able to stand up for the community and get the community to understand the effects of coal.
We're a small group students who were not working, didn't have the resources, didn't have the power, trying to fight government. We didn't even have an office, but we were very resilient, we were focused and passionate.
She began by reaching out to communities living near the proposed plant site. The local people were initially in support of the project. To them, it meant a steady source of electricity and jobs.
We went to the 7 communities, spoke to the chiefs and elders, and then gave them some additional information on the impact of coal. We're not against development. Let's look at the future consequences. 10 years from now, coal against renewable, what will be the impact? But we feel that renewables are a better alternative.
It was good. They came and introduced to us the solar energy in the villages where there's no light.
As communities began to reject the idea of the coal plant, she and his team launched a major social media campaign. They organized press conferences, gave media interviews, and created outreach materials.
Our key message was coal kills. So that was our hashtag on social media. So that triggered a lot of interest. Coal kills, coal kills. And we gave reasons why renewables were better.
After 3 years of fighting an uphill battle, public opinion had firmly shifted against the coal power plant, and the government was feeling the pressure. In October 2016, Ghana's environmental minister announced that the coal plant would not be built. It was a major triumph, but Chi's work wasn't over.
We said, let's keep pushing to advocate renewables.
Ultimately, the government agreed, and in a surprising turnaround, so did China. With China's financial support, the Ghanaian government produced a renewable energy plan with a stated commitment that all new power projects would be green energy based. Now, Chi is helping poor communities and industry go solar.
C for C!
Chi is also working with the next generation to help realize his vision for a truly green future.
We cannot talk about sustainable development without consciously bringing young people to the table. We basically want to build a whole generation of people who are environmentally conscious.
We are at a breaking point and we need to work now and fast. Join us.
For outstanding environmental achievement for Africa, the 2020 Goldman Environmental Prize is awarded to Chibeze Ezekiel, Accra, Ghana.
The Andes Mountains contain 99% of the world's tropical glaciers, with 71% being in Peru. The glaciers are disappearing at an alarming rate. They are already down 53%. If this trend continues, it will have a devastating effect on our environment. So it's important we become educated on this issue and take action.
Yo trabajo 8 años como arriero y bueno, lo que yo he notado en el cambio no es que cada año los nevados se van perdiendo, no se van retirando más, van disminuyendo. Eso es algo que no podemos recuperar, ¿no? Creo que de aquí 30, 40 años ya no va a haber nada. Más antes nosotros, o sea, mi abuelo me cuenta, ¿no? En estos valles que nosotros tenemos ahora, la gente criaba, se dedicaba más a la ganadería y la agricultura, pero ahora ya no vemos eso, ya no vemos muchos animales, porque ya los pastos, todo ya no es igual, ya los pastos se han revigido y por la lluvia también, ¿no? La lluvia ya entra muy tarde. Pues ahora mi comunidad ha optado por criar limitado ya cada persona con 5 o 6 burritos y menos vacas, menos ovejas y bueno, adecuarnos a nuestra vida actual, ¿no?
Si usted se fija en este mapa, usted va a poder ver una delimitación roja, ¿no? Que básicamente nos muestra hasta dónde llegaba el sistema Huascarán. Este es el sistema Huascarán en el 62. En 54 años la Cordillera Blanca ha perdido un promedio de 38% de cobertura glaciar. A nivel del Perú tenemos una pérdida del 53%. Entonces estamos hablando de la mitad, mucho más de la mitad. Y seguimos con una tendencia agresiva de pérdida sobre estos recursos que todavía no sabemos cómo gestionarlos.
Los impactos directos, primeramente va a estar en el tema de la provisión de agua para consumo poblacional. Es claro, actualmente se nota claramente, sobre todo en la época seca, el déficit de agua para la dotación de agua para los cultivos, es decir, para la agricultura, y obviamente también para la industria que genera la energía eléctrica, inclusive en algunos lugares un tema de conflictos con la población, o sea, quién tiene la prioridad en el tema del uso del agua y para qué.
Más adelante no sé qué va a ser de nuestra existencia, porque este es el fuente de vida para nosotros, lo que vivimos aquí en la sierra, ¿no? Así, para la generación, no sé, va a ser un problema muy grande eso, es que este recurso se va a agotar.
Linda Imperial is a prominent singer and songwriter who has performed with some of San Francisco's most renowned bands. From Sylvester's Band to the Weather Girls, Jefferson Starship to the Quicksilver Messenger Service. Linda Imperial is releasing a new album entitled Hot Rock. We now feature the music video of the new single from the album.
I've got the fight, not afraid to take a chance. I'll do it now. I'm living across the line. I'll save the world one heart at a time. Oh yeah. How do you know? Sometimes I fall. Nothing goes my way, I've seen it all. Those dark and bitter days, it's been a heartache for sure. But life goes on, just live it well, and then move on, move on, right. Pounding like a drum, my soul sings. I'm touched by everything my heart writes.
Thank you for watching Positive Spin. This show is made possible through the generosity of the Patty and Jack Wright Foundation. Watch and subscribe to our previous episodes on YouTube, and please like us on Facebook. Follow us on Free Speech TV, Roku, Sling, DirecTV, Dish Network, and Apple TV. I'm Bill McCarthy. Stay safe and healthy, and remember, you can go out and create your own positive news.